Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the flight deck. Hope you are all doing very well today. We are here in Baton Rouge, heading up to Mississippi, Jackson in specific. So we should have a good flight. Kevin, I don't know. I did a restart, and it sat for half an hour on this getting Windows ready. Don't turn off your computer thing. So I've actually turned it off and turned it back on, and it's been restarting, and now it's back to getting Windows ready. Don't turn off your computer. So we'll just leave it sitting there, and we'll see what happens. It's not 100% crucial, but it does mean I'm going to be clicking a little bit more buttons on the gaming one just to switch back and forth to make sure the stream is all working fine. So here we are. It's a beautiful day down here in Baton Rouge. We're not going to be... Oh, now it's giving me a percentage updates. It's working on updates, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. We're going to be flying from here. It's a shorter flight today, and as you can see, it's only about 116 miles. And we're going to be heading up to Jackson, Mississippi, and crossing Mississippi off our list. All right, so let's get the aircraft up and ready to go. So parking brake is set, throttle levers are in flight, idle condition levers are in fuel shutoff, control lock is engaged, flaps are up and zero, batteries are off, wipers and windshield heat is off, circuit breakers are checked, weather radar is in-op, and oxygen quantity and mass have all been checked. So with that done, we'll pop up here to the overhead. And let's do our prep. So master battery coming on, AC generators on, DC generators on. Oop, I've got the Windows screen, so let's see if I can get the other computer up and going as well. I've got it up on the gaming one, actually. That's why it's going to be a little bit more awkward as I have to cover up certain things, but it looks like the other one is up. I'm trying to log into it now. So we'll get it up and going. So that's the battery, AC gen, DC gen masters are all on. Batteries left and right are coming on. DC external power is now on, and the bus tie is closed. We have DC volts and DC load all looking good there. DC generators are all off. Moving right up to the top overhead, we have the flight data recorder in normal. ELT is now in auto, and we're going to get the lights up into the center, which I think is a good place to provide that contrast and illumination, and we are good there. Fuel T handles are all pushed in. Fire and test smoke warnings are done. Moving down now to the main one. Windshield wipers are off. Heater is off. Airframe de-icing is off. Pitot-static heat is off. Propeller de-icing is off as well. Battery temperatures have come up. Position lights are now going on. Engine ignition is normal on all four engines. Auxiliary fuel pumps are off. Fuel transfer is closed. Engine start switch is off. Cabin pressurization is set to auto. AC power is looking good, and external AC power is off. Inverter is set to left bus. HC generators 1 through 4 are off. Engine bleeds for engines 1 through 4 are off. We have the cabin temperatures are set to automatic, and the system is on. Fasten seatbelt sign is on. No smoking sign is on, and the external or emergency lights are armed. So we are good there. We can now come over here and start boarding. And today we are boarding 35 passengers on this flight up to Jackson, Mississippi. There we go. So it looks like I'm logged in, so I'm going to, I don't have all my icons. It's still doing its thing. Alright, so we're going to give it a couple more seconds as we go through as it finishes loading everything in after this Windows update thing that it did. So down to the main glare shield. We'll go to our clocks. It is 2:35 local time. Both clocks are reading the same. Flight idle switch. Our flight taxi switch is set to taxi. GPWS is tested. Yaw damper is normal and guarded. Landing lights, taxi lights are all off. PFCS lights are off. System configuration for autopilot is set to captain. Caution and advisory lights. The advisory lights are up and look good. And caution lights are all up as well. And we are good there. Edge skid is now on. Moving down to the captain's side, we have the, oops, let's get that there, lights coming up. Steering is currently off. Stall overspeed warning, we'll say consider that tested. Flight instruments are looking good, and it's time for the weather, and it looks like my other stuff has come up. So I'm just going to come in here and load up Chrome and VATSPY. And I'll bring up the weather, I'll bring up the stream, and we'll get VATSPY up as well. And get them up and going. It's an older computer, so it's taking a little bit of time. Taking a little bit longer than it normally would. So as we work our way through all this, and we get ourselves ready to go, we'll get that weather up.
At this time, please be sure to make sure all large carry-on items are in the overhead bins and your small items are underneath the seat in front of you. If you have any trouble or need any assistance, please don't hesitate to let a flight attendant know, and we would be happy to help you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you.
The loading up is taking a little bit of time here.
Please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard.
While that's coming up, we will carry on. There we go. So the DMEs are now both on both sides, and we'll make sure we are set to DME number, or nav 1 on my side. Compass is set to slave. Hydraulic pressures are looking good, and we have brake pressure and quantities are up as well. Okay, VATSPY is up. Looks like there's a CL60, which is a private jet flying out of here, is here as well. And does not appear to be any controllers currently online at the moment. Just waiting for the other stuff to load in. There we go. Looks like the internet connection is now deciding to connect. So we are at KBTR. Baton Rouge will bring up the METAR. All right, bit of low pressure here, which is a little bit surprising. I'll throw it into the chat. There we go. Waiting for the stream to come up. Oh, there it is. The stream just popped in place there. Looks like everybody is on board.
We're on your time now.
Thank you very much. So winds are 280 at 11. We have 10 miles of visibility. Scattered clouds at 2,400 feet. 29 degrees. Hot one out today. And 2973 is our barrel. So let's get 2973 in. And set. There's my side. The standby. There we go. And on Roger's side, as again, he's out doing the walk around on the ramp. 2973 is set. All right, so that is all done there. Moving over to the main section of the panel here. We are going up today to a cruising altitude of 13,000 feet. So we'll dial that in. There's 10,000. 13,000 feet is in and set. So prop other feather is off. Engine intake deflectors are retracted. Engine instruments are good. Gear horn test is good. Pitch and roll handles are in, and locked weather radar is in. Auto ATC has provided a transponder code of 4022 for us today. So we'll dial that in. 4022 is set in the transponder. For comms, the CTAF frequency, since there is no comm currently, for KBTR is 11845. So let's dial that in. 11845 and 1228 on to the standby, and 1215 for monitoring guard. There we go. For nav, today we're going to be flying outbound from the Fighting Tiger VOR 1165. That's going to take us up to the MCB, which is the halfway VOR, at 1167. And then from 1167 we fly up to the destination VOR, which is the MHZ VOR 1132. All right. So that is in. Our heading we're going to want between LSU and MCB is going to be 36 degrees. So we'll dial that in. There we go. And looking at the runways now, and the winds here at Baton Rouge, coming out of the west, we're going to be departing off of a runway 31 today. It's going to give us a 6-knot crosswind. So our runway heading is going to be 313. So we'll dial that down. That would put it somewhere in that area there. For our landing, let's take a look at Jackson at KS. What is it? KHKS. Weather in Jackson at Hawkins Field is winds are 260, and looking at the airport diagram, that's going to favor landing on runway 34. Runway 29er is a little bit too short for us. It is a very short runway. It's not a big airport anyway. So we're going to land. We're going to have a crosswind, but it's going to be 8 knots, but it should be doable. Runway 34 is an RNAV approach, which we will select as a reference, but we're not going to worry about that. We'll be coming in and then making a turn onto it for our final, given the way the VORs are laid out. All right. So we are getting close to ready to go here. All right, so with the comm and radios done, flight instruments are checked, roll switch, and we'll get the lights up over on Roger's side. And down to the pedestal, parking brake is set, throttle levers are at flight idle, control lock is engaged, condition levers are in fuel cutoff, flaps are set to 0, flight idle gate is closed, and the light is on. You can see the light on right there where it says gate open. We have autopilot and yaw dampers are both off, and the trims are set for takeoff. So HEC clearance this time. We will self-clear as there are no controllers online in our area. And we are ready for engine start. So we'll come to the back, thank the ground crew, head back up front, and we're going to fire up the airplane. So we're sitting here on the ramp. There's the main terminal for the jets. We're going to come out of here. We'll just taxi around and out. We'll power out under our own power. And we're going to be heading down to the end of runway 31, which is down over there.
And your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not
Alright,
already,
before engine
please
start
fasten
takeoff
your
data
seatbelt
and
verify
speeds,
it
we
is
have
low and
checked
tight
them, doors and
across the
windows are
rack.
closed,
Your turntable
anti-collision
seat
light
back
is
must be in
going
a full
to
upright
red,
and locked position for
parking
departure.
brake
Cabin crew,
is
prepare
on,
doors
and we
for
have
departure,
pressure
cross
power
check,
levers,
verify
flight
straps,
idle,
and
condition
stand by
levers
for
are in
on-call.
shut off, and all 4 DC generators are now on. Alright, so we're starting here. Engine sequence is 3, 4, 2, 1. Starting engine 3. And there we go, and adding fuel. And hear the wind blowing out. We do have a slight breeze here. It's not too bad.
Release your seatbelt with the upper
And we're up to
portion of the
70%
buckle.
on
Please
the
fasten throughout the entire flight as we may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several
on the
emergency
gauge
exits
there,
on this
so starter's
aircraft.
coming off
To
over to
familiarize
4,
yourself
starting
with the
engine number
emergency
4.
exits on this aircraft, please refer to the safety card in the seat back pocket in front of
The
you.
NG
In
percentage,
some cases, your nearest
engine
exit might
4
be
coming
behind
up.
you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the
fuel.
floor to guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps if necessary and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask.
And there's 70% on engine 4, starter off.
Secure your mask
Starting
first
engine
and then
2.
assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing,
While
a
they
light
come up,
vest
we'll
is
switch
located in the
our
pouch under your seat or between your
gauges
arm
over to
rests.
VOR
When
mode.
instructed to do so, open
It's
the plastic
40%
pouch
or
and remove the
20%,
vest.
sorry.
Flip it over your head.
Adding fuel.
Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the straps in tight. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If it doesn't inflate automatically, you may blow into the mouthpiece for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and a light. If you need to, your seat cushion can be used
There's
as a
70%.
secondary switching device.
Starter off,
Please make sure to exit
engine
the
1,
aircraft as soon as possible and leave your belongings.
start is selected.
Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
And
We remind you
adding
that this
fuel
is a
to engine number
non-smoking
1.
flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the
There's our
laboratory
rotation.
is prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. We suggest reading this and let us know if you have any questions.
And we are
You're
looking
flying
good.
with us
So the
and we
engines
hope
are
you
up.
enjoy
There's
your flight.
70%, and we can turn off the starter. Engines are all coming up and looking good. Alright, so once again, emergency brake is in and set. Start selector is turned to the off position. DC external power is now turned off. DC volts and load is checked, and normal battery temperatures are fine. AC generators on engines 1 through 4 are now on. Engine bleeds for engines 1 through 4 are all set to low. Moving down to the bottom here, flight directors are now on both sides. PFCS lights are off, which means everything is good. Prop autofather is cell green. Engine intake deflectors are retracted. Engine instruments are checked, and everything is looking good on all 4 instruments. Hydraulic pressures and quantities are checked and good. Flaps 15 for takeoff, selected and in transit. Flight controls. Control lock is disengaged. There's full left, right, neutral, full forward, back, neutral, left, and right rudder is good. Trim is set to takeoff. Yaw damper is coming on. De-ice pressure is checked. Ground equipment is, well, we'll consider it moved in a way. And engines 1 and 4 going to maximum RPM. Engines coming back now to just below flight idle to decrease the pull. Steering, we'll consider switching it on since it doesn't really do anything. Taxi light is on, and we are good to taxi. Baton Rouge area traffic, Allegheny 32 on the ramp, taxiing runway 31 via Delta Bravo, holding short, runway 31, Baton Rouge. All right, so manual brakes, emergency brakes released, and away we go. We'll ignore these guys. They've actually moved out of the way. We'll work our way around the taxi run here. And we're going to taxi down. So we're heading out here to Delta, and when we get to the big intersection, we're going to turn right onto Bravo, and that'll take us down to the end of runway 31. So our departure is going to be off to the northwest, but we are going to make a left-hand turn, and we're going to turn around so that we can swing back around in a big arc and pick up the VOR out of the LSU, or the VOR radial out of the LSU VOR. Alright, so that will be Alpha heading back that way. This is Bravo over here. So there's no traffic in the area. There's that one other aircraft here somewhere. Not sure where he is. Probably over at the FBO. I believe the C-60L is a private jet. Let's see if he's even there. No, he's long gone. Alright, so our temperatures and pressures are coming up and are into the green, so the engines are warmed up and ready to go. Here's the little runway 4 right, 3,700 or 3,800 feet. You use it for Cessnas and little Pipers and stuff like that. Little private airplanes. You know, the other runways are only 7,000 feet, which isn't much longer, but they are a little bit wider. It's the end of the runway coming up. And we're going to say goodbye to Louisiana as we continue hopping from state to state. So here's the hold line. All right, so we're here at the hold line. Let's come up here. Windshield heat is going to warm up. Pedostatics are coming on. Engine bleeds are set to low. Ignitions are set to normal. Auxiliary fuel pumps for engines 1 through 4 are all on. And dropping down here, we'll go to our flight taxi switch. Over to flight, and the ground spoilers have all deployed. Auto feather is cell green. Engine intake deflectors are closed. Control lock is released. Condition levers for all 4 engines are now in max RPM. Flaps 15 and indicating 15 for takeoff. Trim is set. Turn our transponder on. And that will be in mode C. Make sure that is set on VPilot. Caution lights are checked and we are good. And the cabin is set as well. So landing lights can come on. Taxi light is already on. Weather radar is in op. Anti-collision light will go to white and the strobe lights are on. Lodestar. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, he's off somewhere to the southeast. He left a while ago. I just checked on VSpy. Or VATSpy. Baton Rouge area traffic. Allegheny 32 taking position runway 31. Baton Rouge. Alright. Moving forward. Everything is good. Approach path is clear. There's no aircraft in the area that I can see. I know this runway has the X's on it. Don't know why. The sim does that sometimes on some of these runways. They X them out like they're inoperable or not in use. It's kind of annoying. They are valid runways. So we're going to use it. There's no controller to tell us not to. There we go. We are now lined up. So we're lined up. Brakes are set. Engines are all confirmed. Fully forward at max RPM. Power levers coming up to 3200. Ground spoilers will close as the power comes up. Ground spoilers are now closed. 3200. We should see the auto throttles armed. Auto throttles armed. Baton Rouge area traffic. Allegheny 32 rolling runway 31. Left-hand turn out. Departure to the northeast. Brakes are released. Takeoff power is set. 80 knots. There's 90 knots. Back pressure. And we are up. Positive rate. Gear up. Autopilot on. Through 500 feet, we'll get the flaps up. Actually, we're not going to make the turn. We're just going to fly straight out until we start to capture the beacon. We're on the other side of it, which is good. So we're going to set takeoff power, or climb power, sorry. So down to 3,500 on the engine torque. And the props are going to come back to 107. There's 107s. The board, and we'll come back up to 4,400 on the props. Radial's coming in. We'll switch over to nav mode, get that turn. There we go. So climb power is set, landing gear is retracted, flaps are retracted, auto feather that should come off, but it's linked to that 3,200 on the gauges, and it stays in the auto feather arm. Engine intake deflectors are retracted. Flight idle gate is confirmed in. Taxi light is now off. Ignitions are in normal. Flight auxiliary pumps are off. Engine bleeds are in low. Cabin is pressurizing nicely. Altimeters will stay in local pressure. We're only going up to 13,000 feet. Alt select is set. Capture. Alright, looks like we are picking up the next VOR. So we're going to come in, we're going to go back into heading mode once I get the heading indicator around. The heading bug. bring in the VOR of 116.7. There we go. We will get onto the radial we are now on, and we'll go into nav mode. So we'll set the next and last VOR up. It's 1132, and we'll get that dialed in so it is ready to go. And we're already picking it up, and we're 140 miles away. There we are, turning onto the radial we want. So we were basically going to descend down on the off the next radial, and we'll intercept our turn for the visual for landing up at Jackson, Mississippi. So should be pretty simple. All right, so we're climbing at about 131 knots. Good climb speed today. We have a lower fuel load and lower weight load, as we're not going as far. We don't have as many passengers on board, so we're getting some good performance out of the aircraft today. Has been interesting getting controllers with this airplane when needing vectors for where we're going and flying VOR to VOR. Baton Rouge area traffic, Allegheny 32 is 15 miles to the north, leaving the airspace. Last call on this channel for Baton Rouge. Alright, we're over 122.8. And we're now east of the Mississippi. First Officer Molly is lying on the floor beside me. We did a little bit of shopping for her and headed down to the dog park. She's had some chances to run and play with some other dogs, so she's kind of tuckered out. So she's having an afternoon nap now. 10,000 feet, landing lights will come off. The air is pretty calm. We'll drop off the passenger lights as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000 feet. You can now turn on your larger portable
powering up on the
electronic
engines.
devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened.
Get them above 4,400. There we go.
The lavatory.
So our power setting for 13,000 feet is going to be...
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can have it up and move around the cabin.
400 pounds per hour per engine.
In case of unexpected turbulence.
So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll set that power level once we get leveled off at 13,000 feet. Very green now out here in this part of the world. We've left the sandy reddish deserts of the southwest. We're now into the deep south. It's 500 feet to go. Alt capture. And while we're doing that, we will tweak the engine slightly. Make sure that 107 is it's the wrong ones. 107 is about even. There we go. As we start to come level, we'll look down, and we want 400 on all four engines. So we're going to push forward. can just about make 400 given the air pressure and temperature. So we're at full power now. And we have a current ground speed of 248 knots. That might climb up a little bit more. Well, it is. There's 255. So we're 51 miles out from the next VOR. As I said, we're already picking up the one we're going to be heading
our
to.
lovely flight attendants will be starting our in-flight service. We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. Please note we only accept credit cards.
So we want to be at 2,000 feet when we hit G-low, and the G-low waypoint is actually intercepts the radial that will be flying into the MHZ VOR, which is the next one we've got set up over on this side, the 119 mile away one. So we're basically going to fly up to that point, and then we're going to make the turn for the runway. And we're going to be landing on runway 34. And that is the bigger of the runways. Weathered up at Jackson, we got a broken layer at 4,500. There's a broken layer at 3,300. There's a scattered cloud layer at 2,500. So we got a bunch of clouds. Weather is updated. Looks like it's broken at 43, scattered at 33. 2971 is the altimeter, and 25.5 degrees is what we're looking at. So we'll get our altimeter set to local. That's what we're going up to, 2971. And we'll get that set on both sides. There we go. So ground speed of 275 knots at the moment. We're making good time on our trip to Mississippi. So as we're cruising along here, I'll do as usual, as you get on the YouTube channels, if you can consider hitting the subscribe button, liking the videos, leaving a comment, all that good stuff. It helps people find us and helps keep growing the flight sim community. Especially subscribing, it builds us up and is helping a lot with people coming in and getting interested. There's been a couple people get a little bit more involved in flight simming, and we've been able to help people having issues and problems. If you are having issues and problems, leave a comment, leave a question. I answer all the comments I get on the videos and live streams. You can also come over to our Discord. I'll get the bot to put the link in it, but you can also find the link in the description of the video or live stream. And there's plenty of people there that'll help with either the sim or specific aircraft issues you're having. You can even get help with how to paint the airplanes if you want to get into that type of thing. The other thing is our live streams are all community flights. You can fly along. You're more than welcome to do so. If you want to find out what, where, and when we are flying, you can come over to the Discord and get the information from there. You can also ask questions. A lot of the flights we do are on VATSIM, although sometimes we do multiplayer. And on that point, the next series we're doing, which is going to be in helicopters, will be on multiplayer as well, so you don't have to worry about having to deal with the VATSIM and the strict controllers and all that type of stuff. It'll be a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more fun. So there is that opportunity there as well to come along. And again, if you really want to help with stuff like payware aircraft and airports and other places we fly, and we take a look at things, you can always come in and jump on board with joining the channel for about the price of a coffee a month. It gives us a little bit of a hand offsetting some of the costs of some of the aircraft and stuff that you see us flying here on this channel. So 8 degrees is roughly the heading we're going to want on the next radio. So I'm just going to dial 8 degrees in there so we can see it. It's going to be a little bit of a right turn, or sorry, a left turn. And we're already pointing towards that VOR. 30 miles to go, 103 to the next one. So we're going to go down to 2,000 feet. We're at 13,000 feet. That means we want 11. So we're going to begin about 60 miles out from J-Lo, and I'm just going to try to figure out how far out roughly that is. about 20 miles out from the VOR. So if we begin our descent at 80 miles out from the VOR, no, not 20, 40 miles, 80? Hang on. I need 60 miles to descend to this point. So move it that way. 60, but it'll be short, so 80. We're just going to begin a descent after the next VOR, and we'll just play it by ear from there. A little bit easier to do it that way. I mean, there's all the math calculations you could do. It's 13 times 3, so that's 29 times... Sorry, 13 times x. X equals 3. So that's 13 times 3. 13 times 3 is 29. Let's do it this way. 13 times 3 is 29. We're going 11. So 33, 40, so 43. So if I do 185 knots at 43 miles out from the point I want, so 43, so 53, so 63. So just after we do the turn, 63 miles out. I know math, Kevin. I'm dying here. 13,000 feet. I got to get down to 2,000 feet. All right. So we're down to 13 miles out from the next VOR. So we're going to go into heading mode. We're going to switch over to the next VOR. It's going to be a visual approach and landing. So we're now dialed over to the next VOR. It's going to be on an 8 degree. So we'll get this around to 8 degrees. There we go. So now both of them are set. So call it 180, a descent rate. Well, my speed is 180. I'm going to target 180. Let's call it 1,000 feet per minute. Or 1,000 feet per minute, you tell me the speed. So for the straight in landing, we're doing the LNAV, VNAV. We're going to have the local altimeter setting, so it's going to be 350 feet. So oops, we'll set our decision height here to 300. Stop. Easy on the button. 350 feet for our decision height. And we are coming up on the radial. And we are 82 miles out from the VOR, and the point we want to be at 2,000 feet is about 20 miles before that point. So we're already down to 60 miles. All right, so into nav mode, we'll make our turn. Very green down there. Not sure when we cross into Mississippi. We haven't crossed airspace yet, but it's Memphis airspace. Memphis Center. Alright, there's the turn. So, about 65 miles out, we're going to start down. Try to get 1,000 feet per minute, roughly. Runway heading is 339 degrees. $43 nautical miles at 100. Okay, so 43. So if I add to 63. So, okay, I'll start down at 63. And we're going to go for 180 knots, which I'm doing 200 right now. We're 201. We got 260 knot ground speed, which is pretty cool. And 900 feet per minute. All right. So 7 miles to go till top of descent. And we'll see how that works out. We are on Unicom 122.8, and let's quickly CTAF for KHKS 11965. Why 63? Because the point we want to be at 2,000 feet is about 20 miles before the VOR, which is showing it now at 67 miles away. So if we start at 63 and we subtract that 20 miles, that's the 43 miles you've said it'll take us to get down. No, we want, nope, stop, 6.5. Don't push down on the button when you're scrolling. There we go, okay. 65. All right, so engine's coming back. Speed's going to start to slow down. We're going to go into vertical speed mode, so altitude's going to come off. We're going to push forward for 900 feet on the vertical speed. A little bit up. Come on. 900 feet right there. And we're going to go for 180 knots, which is right where we are right now. So we're going to use the throttles to control our speed, make sure we're sticking at that 180. There we go. We're heading down. Jackson area traffic, Allegheny 32, approximately 45 miles to the south, inbound, descending through 12,400, visual landing runway 34, Jackson. Alright, so as we're heading down, let's get the signs on in the back and we'll get them to start their cleanup. And we can do our set check. So cabin pressurization is automatic and everything is good. Fuel quantities are all checked. Fuel transfers are all off and valves are closed. Altimeters are set to local pressure. We'll do another check just to see if there's an update. I don't think there has been. It's no 2971. Everything is still looking good there. And landing lights, passenger signs are on. Landing lights will come on in 2,000 feet. Right, speed's creeping up slightly, so we'll pull the throttles back a bit. So looking at our destination airport of Jackson, we're currently the only aircraft heading in and going out. Once we're down on the ground, it is going to be a left-hand departure, and that should put us right at the terminal building and the main apron. I don't think they've got a passenger terminal per se, but we'll see what we end up with. All right, speed's creeping again. We'll pull back a little bit. It's 10,000 feet coming up. Bunch of private aircraft. There's a TBM-9 behind us. There's a Citation Longitude passing by further south. He's got no flight plan. On the southwest further to the east. Ten 10,000 feet coming up. So Kevin, now after doing that little repair thing to my yoke and going on, I've only had to like adjust it maybe once in the last 2 flights, and I think it is the socket that it's affecting, but there's so little movement now that it seems to be doing very good. So hopefully this bodge will last for quite a while.
We have begun our final descent into Mississippi.
There's 10,000 feet, landing lights are on.
To collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you.
So it wasn't bad in my ballpark in my head, working it out of just after that VOR to start the descent, so it's not too bad. That's the air temperature's coming up. If I did that, I'd have to crack the case and probably try to like glue the socket in place so that it doesn't move anymore. I think that's what it is. It's become loose inside, and I got no idea how I would crack this thing open. I have to do both sides. The distance between the beacons is 68 miles. I think, hang on. Let me, so yeah, 68.1 miles. So I'd have to, both on the hand part of the yoke and on the main part, I'd have to crack them both and get into where the socket is and, you know, use a crazy glue or some other type of glue in there to get it to freeze in so that I can do my thing with it. No, yeah, exactly, not worth the hassle, especially since I don't know how these things are put together or if they're even glued themselves, and there's no way I could split them without having a lot of problems. So the airport is actually going to be off over here, and you can see Jackson coming up itself. Jackson International is just going to be off to our right, but we're going into Hawkins Field, little bit smaller. Again, it's nice going into these little airports. Not always the big international one. So there's a big lake up here. The other airport is down around here, and the one we're going to is off over this way. But there's 7,500 feet. Still descending, keeping an eye out for the airport. We'll pull back on the power a bit more. Still doing 900 feet per minute. Power hasn't gotten too far away either side, so we should be pretty close to where we want to be. So we've got 5,000 feet to go, and we're going to be high. Because we've only got about 12 miles to go. We'll see how high we are. I'm watching the turn point. I'm watching for the airport. It's going to be up over the built-up area here. No, come on. So there's the built-up area. We should turn somewhere up here and then head up this way. So it's going to be up in this area here. Platform is actually 1900, but it's Jilho, which is that point we're going to come up to. We want to be at 2000. We are currently 24 miles from the beacon. And we've got 4,000 feet to go. I mean, we're not going to be bad. I can get it in. I mean, that's not an issue. I was just aiming for that 2,000 at the turn point, and we're not going to make that. So I'm going to dial in that heading we want of 334. What's it? 344? 339. That's 33. Somewhere around there. Just watching us come up. So it looks like we're going to be 3,000 feet high. There's the airport right there. Alright, into heading mode, right back on the power. Airport's in sight. I can see it right there. So that put us 3,000 feet high. All right, we are under manual control. So cabin pressurization is good. Engine bleeds are fine. Auxiliary fuel pumps 1 through 4 coming on. Passenger signs are on. Final ding in the back. Taxi lights on. Landing lights are set. Altimeters are set. Engine intake deflectors are good. And props coming fully forward on all 4 engines. First notch of flaps, 15 degrees flaps going in. And we're going to start flying this airplane downwards. Yeah, see, I didn't want to be at the beacon. I wanted to be 20 miles to go to the beacon because the turn point was 20 miles from the beacon. All right, so I got the runway ahead. We're good. We'll make it. not going to be an issue. This is a STOL aircraft. Give the passengers a bit of a ride here. All right, 25 on the flaps. Engines are at idle. Getting that speed back. Getting that descent rate. But we're looking good. We'll be fine. Everything's fine. Keep the speed around 120. Below 2,000 feet above the ground, so that's good. There we go. As we come over the highway, we'll drop the gear. Let's gear down 3 green. Speed's down to 110. Thousand feet, flaps full. Radio. Come on, there we go. Jackson area traffic, Allegheny 32, 2 mile final runway 34, Jackson. All right, we're a little low. 500 feet. Some power on, drag it across the trees. Minimums. Watching that speed. Oh, a little bit of a crosswind there. Down. Welcome to Jackson, Mississippi. I'm going to taxi up to Bravo here, then turn in towards the tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mississippi. The local time is 3:34 p.m. and it's currently about 79 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. We thank you for flying with us.
Jackson area traffic, Analog 32, clear runway 34 at Bravo, taxiing to the ramp. Alright, so we are down. Let's go through our after landings and our control check. So, bring the engines up to flight. Idle control lock is engaged. Condition levers for engines 2 and 3 are into feather. Flaps are retracted. Anti-collision light will go to red. Strobes are off. Taxi light will stay on. Landing lights will come off. Engine intake deflectors are closed and retracted. Windshield heat is off. Pedostatics are all coming off. Yaw damper is off. Flight taxi switch to taxi. Weather radar not concerned about, and transponder. Alright, let's see where we're on the taxi to. Somewhere over here. We'll take up a bunch of these spots in front of the control tower. 1,500 feet per minute. Well, that would have been nice to know earlier. And there we go. Parking brake is set. Alright, emergency brake is on. Taxi light. Bring the other engines back into feather. Taxi light is off. Power levers are in flight idle. Condition levers are in feather. Engines 2 or 3 are shutting down. DMEs will come off. Weather radar would come off as well. Transponder will go off. I mentioned that a couple times. Whether it was before or after you did the calculations, I don't remember. Alright, engines 1 and 4 coming off. Engine bleeds are off. Anti-collision light will come off. Position light will stay on. Passenger signs can come off. Fasten seatbelt signs. And no smoking. AC generators will come off. Batteries and everything can stay on since they're going to be unloading. And anti-skid off. Over to the back door. Get off of my plane. Well, welcome to Mississippi. Hope you enjoy your time here. It's not going to be a long time because tomorrow we are back and we will be flying from Jackson, Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. Hope to see you there. Kevin, thanks for coming along. Thanks for the math help. And we will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.